Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we are back and we got some news to talk about. So, Andy Beshear, he's turning down a run for the United States Senate. Trying to make that clear. But it's not that Andy Beshear being a option for Democrats is an issue. It's Democrats trying to make Andy Beshear an option. And they're just so delusional because we've been proven time and time again about the difference between state offices and federal offices. And today I'm going to kind of give a reality check to Democrats because what they're thinking and what they're thinking that, Andy Beshear is going to flip Kentucky. No, he's not. In fact, if he were to run, he would lose by he would get 40% of the popular vote. He's not going to win. Period. And we can back that up with recent elections. So today, this is what we're going to do. Red Eagle did a video sort of similar. I'm going to do a video similar to his. And I'll go ahead and give Red Eagle credit in one specific election. I'm going to say Red Eagle politics was correct about Maryland. You know, I had predicted when Larry Hogan announced that he was running for the Senate, I got very excited because everyone knows who Larry Hogan is. Very strong Republican. Everyone loves this Republican guy. He has a approval rating in the 60% among woke Marylanders. And it turns out going to his elections, in his 2018 run, 55%, that's amazing in the state of Maryland. I mean, he's carrying Frederick County by 60%, Anne Arundel County 60%, Montgomery County 60%. He was on a roll. And as for Prince George's County, it was in the 70% margin. You also have a 2014 run. It was relatively better. I mean, not better, but relatively better compared to expectations, as everyone thought originally it was going to be a Anthony Brown win decisively. I mean, let's be honest, he is, after all, a Democrat. In this, of course, governor's race has proven time and time again that the state is usually blue. But what ended up happening was in the Senate race of 2024, it was a surprise. I wouldn't say I was shocked. If you can go back to my Senate election prediction, I did predict that Angela Alsobrooks would win, but I also had lots of room for doubt because Angela Alsobrooks is a county commissioner. She is a executive of Prince George's County, and basically that's the head of state of Prince George's County. And as a result, she ended up beating Larry Hogan, despite the low name recognition. I'm sure Prince George's County, they know who Angela Alsobrooks is. But yeah, she ended up defeating Larry Hogan quite decisively. And I knew a lot of it was thinking, was it the DEI thing or that sort of issue? And I said, no, it's because this is a federal race. And this is quite what it matters. Now, obviously, I've had more understanding of this race compared to almost 8 months ago, believe it or not, where I reviewed this election last year. I'll tell you, I had a lot of doubt. Larry Hogan, she obviously got in because of DEI, blah, 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 blah. And I've realized that, not really, because honestly, maybe there's a little bit of that, but she got in mostly because this is a blue state, okay? Now, Maryland's flexible, less flexible now, but back then in 2018, they were flexible. They could vote for a Republican, and they have proven that by re-electing Larry Hogan in 2018. But that was a state office, okay? Federal office is much different. Federal office, states are aligned. That's when red state, blue state matters. And Maryland is a blue state. So you got a popular governor like Larry Hogan. He wins so big margin in 2018, but loses in 2024. I get people say, it's a 6 years difference. No, not. Yeah, sure. Yes, absolutely. I don't think that was really the part of it. Obviously, he was relatively popular enough to get 42%. And that's why I think, okay, if Andy Beshear, he is popular, obviously. His 2023 run has shown that he is obviously very well liked in Kentucky, but he will lose. But he will probably pull a 42%. He will probably do better than Mitch McConnell's opponent back in 2020. But this is a blue Kentucky scenario. This is not going to happen in a race in the Senate. If anyone's suggesting this is going to be the case, it's not. So, it really doesn't matter. Governor Andy Beshear saying, "Oh, I'm not going to run." Well, it doesn't really matter, because if he does run, I would say run. I mean, I would be happy to have Andy Beshear run. Are you kidding? Let's have Andy Beshear run, because this guy's allegedly a candidate for the presidency. And, I mean, he is not as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as all the others, and he could possibly win. He's definitely someone that looks like he can pull it off. If he can appeal to the average rural Kentuckian voter, the Trump supporter in Kentucky, I think he can obviously win. But obviously, specifically in regards to Andy Beshear, I do think that if he were to run in this election, that's destroying his presidential primary, because best believe if he loses the Senate race, which he knows he is, okay? He knows he is, and this is why he's saying, nope, sorry, and he is making the right decision, because it's just absolutely too way too red. You're overestimating your popularity. And yes, I think Kentuckians like you as a governor, but they don't want you to be senator. That's probably what they are assuming here. So obviously, this is your blue Kentucky map, as ugly as it looks. What would that case scenario be? And I'm not finished yet, because Maryland is an example of a state where you had a very popular said candidate run. But what about is there another scenario? Absolutely. You have 2020 race, specifically in the gubernatorial race. You have Steve Bullock. I've mentioned Steve Bullock in a later episode. But yes, that Senate race, we talked, and the pro-Democrats will say, oh, well, Steve Bullock, he was going against Steve Daines. He was an incumbent. True. But despite being, and you would think like, and he only got 55% despite being the incumbent. True. That is true. And Steve Bullock is a very well-liked politician. But despite that, though, he was doomed from the start. Let's be honest. This is bad. This is a 10-point margin. Okay? 11-point margin for Steve Daines. Okay? And if Bullock obviously was, let's just say, and not to mention, he did outperform Biden, but not by much as what people would like to imagine. Let's remember, in 2020, Montana voted for Trump by like 57%. Okay, it wasn't really the biggest red state, or let's make sure this is cool. Yeah, 56%. Okay, yeah, you take a look at the margins. Yeah, some counties did vote for Steve Daines, and that's what happened with Larry Hogan. Okay, if you're a well-popular governor, there's a chance that you can take it out. But obviously, it wasn't necessarily enough to pull you over, not to mention this was in a presidential year. And when you're talking about a midterm year, where we're talking about Democrats have the low propensity, this is going to be quite difficult. So there was also 2018. In the 2018 election, we have Phil Bredesen. He is also a candidate who ran against Marsha Blackburn. Marsha Blackburn defeated him decisively. And not to mention, Marsha Blackburn was kind of like a no-namer. Who was Marsha Blackburn? She was a U.S. representative. She had more experience. But Phil Bredesen was, of course, the former governor of Tennessee. And you can clearly see here, 50% to 47%, 2002. Then again, it was relatively considered a swing state back in 2000. I mean, a lot of people, even myself, if I were alive during the time, would be like, yep, Gore's going to carry that state. But he carried every county in 2006. Like, look at this. 68%. And I want to believe Red Eagle said that he almost carried every county. He carried every county. And not over that, he carried them all by solid margins. So this is bad. And you would think generally that Phil Bredesen would be the key to deliver you victory in Tennessee. And you can't even do that in Tennessee. And you got this representative named Marsha Blackburn, who hasn't ran an at-large race before. She defeats the governor. And the governor loses all but 3 counties that he carried back in 2006. Man, I mean, it was 2006, 2018. That's like 12 years apart. It says a lot. So we went over 3 examples of popular figures, all which were governors, and they run for federal office. It does not look like what you would expect it to look like. Makes sense? Now, a lot of people will say, well, what about Susan Collins in Maine? Well, Susan Collins was elected in a period, in a time where, the Senate was more flexible. It was less partisan, okay? Susan Collins was elected during a 1998 United States Senate election. Yeah, relatively, it was flexible. The concept of red state, blue state didn't really exist back then. Okay, never mind. She got elected like in 96. Yes. The concept red state, blue state never really existed. But until 2000 election. But even during the 2000 election, I think people really liked Susan Collins. They could trust her. And not only to mention, she was a likable figure in the state. She could run again. It's pretty much uncertain. But if she doesn't, she's publicly expressed a run. But it's quite interesting. If she doesn't run, then this seat is definitely flipping blue. And it's not going to be up for contest for Republicans. So we can rest assured that. And yeah, I mean, we can do a prediction of what it would look like if Andy Beshear were to run against some Republican. We could do a let's see here. Let's do 1996 2026 race. See if we can pull one up. Okay. All right. Being very slow, but yeah. I should probably search it up at this point. This is just disgraceful. But we can go ahead and see who's running. I know Daniel Cameron's running. I think Daniel Cameron's weak, though. Daniel Cameron's ruined his career, and I don't think he will be the nominee. Andy Barr. So the 2 Andys. I think Andy has I hope Scott Jennings runs. He's a political strategist, but he has the attention too. Yeah, and Barr is raising tons of money against Daniel Cameron. I mean, Daniel Cameron, like the guy and all, but let's be honest, bro. Here, you have had your time. Not 2019. I mean, let's be honest. You couldn't carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You lost 5 Trump 2016 counties. Now, let's give you benefit of the doubt. This county does have the capital, and Trump lost it very mildly, barely, barely. He carried it barely. He barely carried it. These 4, though, I don't understand. They are easy to pick up. So the motion that Daniel Cameron is a strong candidate, not really. 57%. The state voted for Trump around in the 60%. So that was a red flag to begin with. So I can understand why, obviously, in 2023, Andy Beshear walked over Daniel Cameron pretty badly, like really badly. Like this is just obnoxious. This is like spaghetti all over Kentucky. But that is an example. Although 6.1%, the turnout was only 38%. What the heck? 38% of the population participated. Yeah, 60, not even a million. It was low turnout. So imagine that. Not even the Republicans didn't want to come out and vote. Yeah. But that is one candidate. I think he's not going to get nominated. I think his time's up. But we're talking about Andy Barr, who is a representative of the 6th District. Now, a lot of people say, oh, but Andy Barr is like Mitch McConnell. He's going to be Rhino, blah, 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 blah. I would like to see Scott Jennings, but I mean, if Andy Barr is going to be the nominee, Andy Barr is going to be the nominee. And if he runs against, let's just say, if he runs against, like an Andy Beshear, I would say it's not going to be. And the one thing I do disagree with Red Eagle, all respects, I think Andy Barr would do well, mainly because he's a Republican. He's running in a midterm year. Nate Morris, I know he's running some sort of campaign. He's I think, more of a MAGA Republican. Yep. Endorsed by Charlie Kirk. But, yeah, I think he would win regardless. But I think, really, Morris and Barr would perform the same margins. Just because of the propensity vote and just being it during a midterm election, that's probably how it's going to go. And I think Morris would beat Beshear, obviously. And I can't even say if Morris would actually beat Beshear if he was running for governor. I think that would be a different story. But just to let you all make myself clear, this is a hypothetical. Andy Beshear has not declared a run. Hopefully he does, because if he runs, he's going to lose, and that would destroy his political career. And as we all know, he is seen as a candidate for president, and he knows that if he runs, he loses. That jeopardizes his presidential run. So I think, yeah, on paper, yes, this is smart of him. But let's be honest, we conservatives would love to have Andy Beshear run, and that we want Democrats to pamper him about it. So I do think that Beshear would probably carry these 3 counties. We can actually look up the election results of 2023 because that's an example. Because Republicans carried off-state elections. So, yeah, you got Michael Adams had a good performance there. Attorney General Russell Coleman, 58%. 2023, yeah, we already did that. Auditor, yeah, that's what I was saying. Allison Ball, different counties. It's not this county this time. It's this county. I don't know my Kentucky counties, so my bad. Whatever this county's called, she lost it. But Allison Ball, not Crystal Ball, thankfully, but Allison Ball, Kim Reeder didn't carry this county right here, which is, I don't know if it's called Boone County, something like that. But she carried this one right up here to the far right. So I think Beshear would probably pick up that one, whatever that county's called. We can actually look that up in a Kentucky map, see what makes it so compatible and how it voted in recent elections. And that is Rowan County. And it is a Trump county. I think it is also an Obama county, though. Okay. We want a clickable map. Rowan. All right. Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's going down this time. 63%. My goodness. And this is a county. Or am I hallucinating? Am I hallucinating, or is this a different county? It's Rowan County's right there. Yep, it's Rowan County. This is a county that backed Trump 60%. Would it back Beshear? Well, I think it's generally got more redder. And being a general election, I'm not sure. I'll play around with it. There's Mark Metcalf. Roll down here. Yeah, I do think that he probably, being a federal race, I think Beshear would only carry these three prominent counties. And of course, this county right here is Franklin, actually. It's Franklin County. Franklin County, longtime Democrat stronghold till now, 51% for Trump. Biden almost picked up the county in 2020. This is the 2024, very first time since 2004, the county actually voted above 50%. Ironically. So it is considered generally a competitive county. I'm surprised. Yeah, Mitch McConnell lost this county, by the way. Mitch McConnell lost this county to his opponent. We should probably pull up that race, 2020 race. And see how that's going to pull up. Yeah. Yeah. Fayette County, right? Franklin County. What am I thinking? 57%. Yeah, this is like a disgraceful Daniel Cameron performance. But Amy McGrath, I don't know what people. Yeah, this was generally considered a possible flip. But yeah, McGrath won one poll in May. I think McConnell is just too big. Turnout went high because of it being a presidential year, not 2014. Obviously, low turnout in 2014 for obvious reasons that we don't need to explain. But this is what it would look like if we had a Beshear run. We can guarantee you that, yeah, Beshear would probably not pick up the prominent Trump counties that he managed to pick up during his 2023 race. He wouldn't pick up those counties. This is a federal race. We understand that counties, states, they vote in line with how they voted for president because, again, president is also a federal race. House of Representatives are a little bit different because we're divided up into districts. Counties are split into different sections, etc. But even the districts are getting more aligned with politics, as like presidential race. We've seen like Minnesota 7, formerly Democratic, now solidly Republican, as it aligns with how it votes for president. So this is what it looks like, my prediction, if a Barr versus Beshear race were to occur. 3 for Beshear by county, 117 for Barr. So what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below, and as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.